Evening all. I've called this video Why I Hate Reality TV because I really think that reality TV and the explosion of it over the last 12, 13 or 14 years really is one of the kind of worst aspects of living in modern Britain. The fact that the television, or the main channels anyway, BBC One, ITV and Channel 4, are dominated by this stuff in a way that they never were if you went back, let's say, 13 or 14 years. You know what I'm talking about. You know, Big Brother, the X Factor, and all the rest of them. The worst of the lot being I'm a Celebrity in the Jungle, Get Me Out of Here, and that sort of stuff. Why don't I like it? Well, for a start, I mean, it's displaced so much other good TV that used to be on mainstream channels. Now, I'm not saying that you don't get good TV anymore. You do. The fact that there's loads more channels in the digital age does give you more choice. You can watch good stuff on BBC Four and the like. But the problem is it's buried on niche channels. At least when there was only 3 or 4 channels, the mainstream audience was exposed to more challenging television because there were only 2 or 3 channels to watch, or 3 or 4 channels to watch. And the mainstream audience was watching a better quality programme. Now, with all the kind of a variety of stuff buried on niche channels, you've got the mainstream channels dominated by this cheap reality TV rubbish. And, it's displaced things like, quality sitcoms. I mean, there are a few, good sitcoms still made, current ones like Mrs. Brown's Boys and so on. But they're very much in the minority because reality TV has displaced them and, good drama. And the reason being that it's cheap. I mean, reality TV is cheap television that they know will pull in a mass audience because it's easy, it's undemanding, it's lowest common denominator, a lot of it, and that's the other problem with it. It really does pander, some of it, to the worst aspects in some of the audience. I mean, I'm a Celebrity is a classic example. I mean, sit there, laugh away because someone's eating a maggot, laugh away because someone's just kind of munched the penis of a kangaroo. I mean, how low do we go with it? Why not have, celebrity feces eating, where you get a bunch of Z-list celebrities, stick them in a room, make them play some kind of inane bouncing game, and the one who loses gets to choose between eating a massive cow pat or eating some dog muck off the street. Is that how low we're going to go with it? I mean, it's almost like going back to the kind of, Roman times where you pacify the public by kind of having them in the Colosseum watching kind of the lions tearing people apart and so on. Obviously, it's not in the same league as that, but it's pandering to the same kind of impulses in the audience. The desire to watch people humiliated, the desire to laugh at people doing utterly disgusting things. Obviously they're not being killed, but they're kind of being ultra humiliated by eating rats' anuses and so on. It's the same kind of impulse. And, so that's one thing that's a problem with it, the kind of coarsening and lowering of everything to the lowest level. But it's just the general cheapness of it, the general tackiness of it, the general easiness of it. Nothing is challenging. And, the one that exemplifies that the most is probably the X Factor or Britain's Got Talent and that kind of stuff. Glorified karaoke contests where kind of being good at karaoke, being able to sing old hits in a decent voice somehow makes you some kind of star, some kind of genius. I mean, okay, people are going to be watching this and will say, but there's always been talent shows. In the 1970s or whatever, there was talent shows, Opportunity Knocks, but they didn't dominate, and they didn't dominate youth culture. like they seem to do today. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, talent shows were seen as rather naff. They were seen as the sort of thing that your parents watch. You don't watch Opportunity Knocks and sort of think Huey Green is some kind of hero. It's something your grandparents might do. But nowadays it seems to be that Simon Cowell and this sort of thing and the X Factor is seen as the height of cool. As if the height of imaginative, creative endeavour is able to sing karaoke versions of old Beatles songs or something. And when was the last time? England produced a really cutting edge band? An iconic band or an iconic solo artist. Like in the 70s with David Bowie, or in the 80s with the Smiths. Has there been a really good band in Britain since Britpop in the mid 90s with Blur and Oasis? A real iconic band? Probably not. There probably is good music around at the moment, but again, it's probably buried in niche areas, and it's probably findable by being in the know and downloading it off the internet. What you don't have is mainstream, great mainstream bands that are also cutting edge, because the mainstream is dominated by all this rubbish that's coming from the X Factor. If the height of creative musical cutting edge endeavour in this decade is someone like Ollie Murs, good grief. And this is the sort of thing that reality TV is producing. It's lowering the quality of the mainstream. Why should you have to go miles out of the mainstream to find culture that is challenging or is good? Why can't a mainstream audience be exposed to something that's a bit more challenging and a bit more demanding of the viewer than I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, or watching something like couples getting off with each other on a desert island? That was one I remember a few years ago with Callum Best in it. Surely you could present a mainstream audience with something a bit more challenging than that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, what do you do about reality TV? Well, you can watch, just search, for the more niche stuff on other channels, I suppose, or just do something else. But how much of your life is being wasted watching this rubbish? And it is addictive. Once you start watching something like the X Factor, I'm a Celebrity, it does pull you in. It is addictive. But it's a waste of your time. It's hours of your life that you're never going to get back. Sat there semi-comatose in front of this kind of, entertainment as a form of social control, rubbish for the masses. It's hours of your life that you're never going to get back. So do something more interesting with your life. Go for a walk, enjoy the countryside, read a book. I'm reading this at the moment, The Killing of William Rufus. Brilliant, historical mystery. Read a book. Hours of your life spent reading this. I think it's going to mean a bit more to you than hours of your life watching some Z-list celebrity or some sort of desperate politician like George Galloway or whatever her name was, that conservative politician in the jungle. Watching someone like them pretending to be a cat or eating a maggot and chewing on a rat's arse. You're never going to get those hours of your life back. And what is it giving you? What is it doing to make you a more informed, more educated individual? You're never going to get this time back in your life, so why not spend your life doing something a bit more worthwhile? Thanks for listening.